Swarm.
I'm thinking Landry's offensive heavy draft is about to come true. Wide receiver and RB rounds 1 and 2. No defensive picks until late after the draft. I'm wondering if this just sets up DeMeco to draft defense and say, F us all. I'm DeMec. F you, Landry. I am DeMec. I got no O. My defense is elite. Campbell fell to me at 25, and I took him. Like, hey, I got my Crimson Tide linebacker. He's awesome. We have one of the best defenses in the league. F you, DeMec D's nuts. Take that.
That's Jihad Campbell for those keeping track at home.
Yeah.
I mean, look,
if Jihad Campbell falls to 25, what are you saying?
He'll be there.
Yeah.
He'll be there.
Don't be shocked.
He'll be there. I'm more like there's like 3 probably defenders I'd be like, yeah, go ahead, do it.
Who? Stewart?
Emanawari.
Another safety?
But go ahead, do it.
Okay.
Jalen Walker.
That's not happening. He might go 5th.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I'd say, yeah, go ahead, do it. And then, I mean, Kenneth Grant would be just a load in the middle of this defensive line.
So this offensive line maneuvering and the wide receiver has you open to defense now. Like that is what they've done. Like this was something you were not down with. And I'm not calling you out because it's obviously a different situation, but they've done enough with the offensive line and you've soured enough on this wide receiver group to where you would be open if DeMec, no O, decides to go defense in round 1.
Well, no. I mean, if the guys that I think are good are there or are off the board, then like, yeah, take a defender if you feel strongly about him. But I mean, if you're sitting here and you're telling me Emeka Egbuka's on the board and they take a freaking linebacker, I'd be beside myself.
I don't know if I can get, but I can't get beside myself with them on defense because I feel like they know what they're doing.
Yeah, but you take a linebacker that you can't put on the field day one. Like,
they might.
Like Jihad Campbell's going to start next to Aziz?
I'll put it this way, if they take a guy in the first round on defense, then I believe that he can play immediately because I trust their evaluation of defensive guys that much.
I mean, sure, a defensive tackle makes sense. Like, yeah, you can put Kenneth Grant on the field right away, but like, I can't put Jihad Campbell on the field day one.
Can. He can adjust.
Just
he's been willing to adjust. We saw him last year.
Just draft a damn guard or wide receiver and call it a day.
Okay, well.
Actually, trade back and get a bunch more stuff on day 2. That's what I want you to do. That's what I really want you to do.
He's going with the defense, man. Now I'm getting a little bit more open to this. I feel like DeMeco just building a defensive empire.
I like Donovan Ezeraku from Boston College too, so maybe I'd think about him at 25. You need somebody when they inevitably let Danielle Hunter go.
Are you talking yourself into defense?
No, because there'd have to be
Danielle Hunter's 2 years away.
They'd have to be they rotate them like hockey lines. So
they signed like 30 this offseason.
That's fine. Ezeraku's better than most of them. I mean, it'd have to be a nightmare from like, oh, this guy's gone, up, this guy's gone, up, this guy's gone. And then it's like, okay, I guess they'll take a defender. The real question is, would I rather him take a defensive player or the tackle from Ohio State whose knee is messed up? And that's where you really put me in a blender. And I'm just like, oh God.
Well, that's the scary thing about it though. Like with all the defense and stuff is, and I don't know if they're going to think this way. I think it would be kind of interesting, but like, what if they're thinking, okay, we have all these guys. We don't know if we sign any good offensive linemen, but they're on 1-year deals. They're supposed to hold it down. We don't know if they can, but we obviously hope so. So maybe we're more willing to take an offensive lineman who's not immediately ready to go because he can sit behind these 1-year stopgap guys.
The guy you take at 25 has got to be on the damn football field week 1.
But
helping.
This is the problem though, like with this organization. And this is why I'm bringing up the defense thing, because if just based on watching this regime from and this is something that I think they both have in common. I think Caserio and DeMeco have both failed in offensive line evaluation and decision making. So on one hand, I sit here and I say, okay, they need this and this. Now, the draft might not provide you with the opportunity to get a good wide receiver or a good offensive lineman. Who knows? But I say, okay, they need this. So if they select it, they naturally be like, okay, they need that. Let's figure it out. But I don't necessarily trust them, like when it comes to the offensive line. On the other hand, I say, good Lord, they have a lot invested in defense. They've invested multiple draft assets to bring in Will Anderson, Danielle Hunter's like the most money they've ever given anybody. They drafted Kamari last year in the second round. They brought in all these defensive guys. They got all this depth and stuff. Enough with the defense, but then when they draft a defensive player, I trust them to make that right decision. So that's kind of like the emotions of like knowing this organization, knowing these guys, and knowing the way that they've made decisions.
Yeah, sure. But the guy's like, if it's an end, it's a corner. Like, okay. Like, I trust him. Like, drafting a freaking rotational linebacker of 25.
But I feel like he's going to be awesome if they take him. That's the trust. It's going to be interesting. 25, a lot of options. Could DeMeco go defense? My goodness, is it a possibility? Cody Stoots, he's sitting here rolling his eyes now. But you kind of notice he kind of opened up to that defensive possibility. This is our biggest happening so far. Cody Stoots open to defense at 25.
Yeah, in a scenario
sound off the breaking news sounder. There are exceptions. There are possibilities for Cody Stoots to go defense.
I mean, like I'd have to go through and like basically chop off like the guys that I would be like that I like on offense and like assign them a spot. Like it'd be tough to see me get. Is it impossible? No, it's not impossible, but it'd be tough for me to get there.
But you got there.
Well, yeah, I'm not going to sit here and tell you there's not a scenario that exists where I'd be okay with defense. Like if Zabel's not there from North Dakota State and Banks isn't there from Texas and the tight ends are gone and the wide receivers are gone, it's like, okay, let's have a conversation about a defensive player versus, the seventh offensive lineman.
Interesting.
Let's have that conversation. Like Josh Connerly from Oregon. No thanks. Take a defender.
We will see. I'm intrigued to see what happens, and I'm very intrigued to see what's going on with you now. To where you're open to
screw this. Take a Marion Hampton at 25 before you take a defender. Let's not be stupid about this.
Okay. See, you talked yourself out of it. I like this. This is why we talk.
Take a Marion Hampton at 25 if there's no wide receivers or guards you like, and get the next Joe Mixon to be behind Joe Mixon.